Hello everyone and welcome back to TNS RV Adventures. As promised, we're going to talk today about going full-time. So we're going to cover a lot of things here. We're going to show you a lot of things. So buckle up. We're going to talk about full-time RVing. Okay, so you want to go full-timing. Well, hopefully you've picked the right rig for it and you've got everything in line with your rig, your tow vehicle, your towed, your motorhome, whatever. And so now you're looking at, okay, what do I do about going full-time? Well, hopefully that you've went out and camped for, in your new rig, 2 weeks, a month. And so, yeah, we can do this. We really like this. But you have to understand that you're not on vacation anymore. You're going to live in this RV year round, whether you're sitting still or moving, driving across country, whatever. Now, some people choose to do semi full-timing where they keep their home base. That's great. You always got a place to come back to. But a lot of people, when they go full-timing, they want to just get rid of everything, sell their home and everything, and maybe even get a storage place to put some of their things in, just in case they want to go back to a home base. There's a lot of things to think about before going full-time. So hopefully you've got the right rig, you're ready to do this. But you have to understand full-timing costs can vary widely depending upon where you stay, how much you travel, your insurance, health and vehicle insurance, on and on. And I have seen figures anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 a month for full-time RV living. Again, it depends upon where you stay. If you stay a lot in resorts, it's going to get real expensive. If you stay in a lot of out-of-the-way parks, they could be as cheap as $450 a month, maybe plus your electric bill. So it just depends on where you stay. But just keep in mind, it could be anywhere from, say, $1,000 to $5,000 a month. Then you have to look at it. If you're going to be fully retired, you're going to be working remotely, you're going to be work camping to help bring in some more income. Those are the things you want to look at as well. But the big thing that you want to get down and get your ducks in a row is your domicile. What is your permanent address? Now, that can be a real legal requirement. It just depends. Your domicile is where your permanent address is. Let's say your United States Postal Service address. Now, some people have a permanent address because they go through an RV club and they establish a permanent address. Other people have a mail post office box. But you got to be careful with this because there's something that's called the Patriot Act. And a lot of financial institutions, a lot of companies you may deal with, if you have a post office box or a mail forwarding box, a lot of these companies will not deal with you. They won't allow you to have an account, and it just becomes a hassle. And it all has to do with the Patriot Act and some of these companies not willing to fully understand the Patriot Act. So make sure you read up on it. Make sure that you have everything in a row before you go full-time. Now, there are a few states that people really like as far as RV full-timing and establishing a domicile. Florida, Texas, South Dakota, and more people are choosing Tennessee. Now, one of the reasons is because those states don't have state income tax. But you also have to consider other things too. What kind of health insurance are you going to be using? Are you going to go on the open net and find your health insurance coverage, or are you on Medicare? Keep in mind those health care policies are based upon your zip code. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at some of these states that, really cater to full-time RVers. And here is a caution for you. Do not ever hide or withhold the fact that you're living in your RV full-time. Don't try to hoodwink these companies and lie to them and make them believe that you have home somewhere, because that's going to get you into trouble with your insurance companies, your vehicle insurance companies, with their health insurance companies, with your banking and your investment firms. Be upfront with them, because it can cause you nothing but grief down the road if you try to hide it from them. Okay? Think about your United States Postal Service and how you're going to get your mail. Somebody's going to forward it to you. Now, I know of people who use a relative's home address, and that's where they get their mail sent, and that's what they use for their domicile, their permanent address. If you want to work with your family and have that kind of situation, that's fine. Just keep in mind the legal ramifications of doing that. I mentioned banks. Ensure that any bank that you use or any investment company is okay with the address that you give them. Now, these banks and investment firms will research your address, and if they find it to be a mail forwarding service or a mail post office box, they'll reject your address. One time we tried to get a discount credit card from Bass Pro Shops, and they did research on our address and they rejected it. It was a way that our address was listed. They thought it was a post office box, and it really is not. So just be aware of it, and these companies will research your address and you might get rejected. Banking. We've talked some about banking. It would be my advice to diversify your banking. Maybe have one bank account in a large national bank that's prevalent all across the United States, so you can always find a bank to go into. You might also choose a local bank that you've done business with for years and years. You can bank anywhere you want to bank. It doesn't have to be necessarily wherever your domicile is. But also check in to see if you can transfer funds between these different banks. That will all help you in the long run. As well as banking, it would be my advice that you obtain multiple credit cards from different banks. In case one credit card is compromised, you can always use another one, and you can stop the other card, so you're not stuck out on the road someplace with no way to charge for gas, food, or whatever. You can also get refueling cards. Now, these are like refueling cards that truckers use. You can get substantial discounts using these refueling cards. Read up on that, research it. Now, between Tammy and I, we have two different banks. One is local and one is a nationwide bank. So, and we have credit cards from both of them. And so if we have one card that's compromised, and we always keep track of our bills, we always look at them. Go out to our credit cards and look at the postings to it. Like I say, if one is compromised, we can kill that card and we can use another card until we get the compromised card replaced. So these are the things to think about when you're going full time. You have to think about insurance. I mentioned it a while ago, your health insurance and your vehicle insurance. Now, if you're on, you want to make sure that your health insurance is portable, that is good, and no matter where you're at and no matter what state you visit. So look at your health insurance, whether it's Medicare or whether it's a retiree policy or whatever. You've got it on the open web. But make sure it's portable so you can use it in any state that you're visiting in. Insurance for your vehicles. Make sure they understand that you're living in your full time in your RV, and they're okay with that. Now, a lot of companies will not deal with full-time RVers. There are a few that will, and there's a lot of people who like to use Progressive. There's a lot of people who like to use Good Sam through a company called National General. Some, depending on where you live, there are some vehicle insurance companies that will insure full-time RVers. It just depends upon what state you live in. Check with the local insurers and make sure that they will insure you going full-time. Okay? All right. Budgeting. Now, like I said a while ago, you're not on a permanent vacation, right? Okay. So you don't want to treat it as such. So you want to come up with a budget. You want to come up with parameters of living expenses, because if you start spending too much, I mean, if you got gobs of money, go for it. Hey, have fun. But a lot of us live on fixed incomes, whether that's Social Security or whether it's your IRA or your pension fund or whatever. But establishing a budget and some cost parameters will benefit you in the long run. So think about managing a budget which will keep you grounded in your expenses and your costs. And I'm going to share with you in a little bit some of our costs for full-time living through 2023, okay? So when you're full-timing, you have to stay flexible, You have to be able to change your schedule whenever you need to, or change your plan because of breakdowns or weather, or a campground may close. You may have a reservation and all of a sudden you find out, well, it's closed. They lost your reservation, whatever. Just stay flexible, Don't get all bent out of shape because something happens, because that's just going to make it worse. Say, okay, we've got to change our plan. So keep your plans and your schedules flexible. Learn to be flexible. If you have to stay longer in a campground, see if you can extend your stay. Don't be so tied up in a rigid plan. Okay? You also have to challenge yourself for extensive travel. You're going to have to like to move around the country. You're going to have to like to explore, to experience new places, find new things. You're not in your comfort zone anymore where your home used to be. You know where your local grocery store is, and your hardware stores, and your Walmarts and Lowe's, Home Depot. When you're out on the road, it's easy enough to find these places, but you have to kind of have that explorer mentality to really enjoy the full-time lifestyle. And I'm going to show you in just a little bit some reasons why full-timers say they have stopped. So I'll share that with you as well. Now, before you start your full-time lifestyle, it's a good idea to be as debt-free as you can be. If you've sold your home, you've taken that money maybe and put it into your RV rig, purchase of your motorhome, your truck, your camper, whatever. but try to be as debt-free as you can entering full-time RV lifestyle, because it's going to be much easier for you to do that. So just keep in mind, get your debts paid down, be as debt-free as you can when you start the full-time lifestyle. It'll just pay you back in dividends later. Okay, Tammy and I are Escapees RV Club members. The Escapees RV Club was formed by people who full-time live in their RVs. It's been around for years. We have a permanent street address that is fully legal and has been tested. We established this legal address before we actually went full-time. So when we sold our home, all we had to do was just submit forwarding from our old address to our new address. And I will tell you that our address is legal and permanent. And when we renewed our passports, they accepted our address. So I'm going to share with you here in just a little bit a screenshot of the Escapees website. I would advise you to go out and read their website, read the information on it, and it'll really give you just a lot of good information about going full-time. But we have been Escapees full-time members now for 4 years, and we have never had a problem. And like I say, we updated our passports and our address was fully accepted. So it's something to check into. It's something to read up on. You can see the pros we have listed here. Freedom, spend as much time as you want wherever you're going, a slower pace of living, unlimited adventures. You can spend some really quality time together and make new RV friends. The comfort of bringing your own home with you. Sleep in your own bed. Use your own bathroom. Experience the seasons as you wish. As much sun of the fun as you want. Outside living. And look out your windows. Look at the views outside your windows. You'll never see beautiful views like that staying in one place. Where everything isn't always beer and Skittles, so you have some cons. You still have to do your rig maintenance. You have limited storage capacity. Road fatigue. If you're on the road constantly setting up and tearing down, that can get old. Missing friends and family back home. A loss of familiar community services in your comfort zone. Tight space of living, you get less privacy in the RV and in campgrounds. And you have a limited space for personal hobbies like gardening or woodworking, things of that nature. A few years ago, I read an article from RVDreams.com of why full-timers stop. And I thought I'd share that with you as well, the good and the bad and the ugly. Decision fatigue, always moving, always setting up, always tearing down. Campground overcrowding and too costly, and the costs seem to keep going up. Irresponsible RVers and boondockers. RV repairs take too long and it's too expensive. Well, it would be if you don't do a lot of do-it-yourself repairs. Missing family and friends, they just ran out of money. Tired of making reservations. Well, yes, that's a pain. Online digital nomads and bloggers can't find suitable internet. And declining health or age. Sooner or later, you got to come off the road. But I have met and talked with 80-year-olds that are still on the road. So it depends upon the person. The Escapees RV Club is a very good resource to read up about full-timing. There's lots of information here. You can join and establish a domicile. Just a lot of good information. You don't have to join to be able to read some of the information on there. So it's a very good resource for people contemplating going full time. Some of the costs to consider when going full time is your site, electric and propane costs, your rig expenses like insurance, license plates, roadside assistance, repair, maintenance, and loans if you have any. Your truck or your towed, same thing, insurance, fuel, maintenance, license plates, loans. Your maintenance, if you do it yourself, you can save some money, but if you take it to a dealer or always use mobile techs, it's going to increase your cost. RV club expenses like escapees, 1,000 trails, KOA, Passport America. Your health care, make sure it's portable, whether it's Medicare, company plans, private, or think about your prescriptions. Communications, your cell phones, how are you going to get email, internet, streaming services, dining out and groceries, entertainment, and miscellaneous like clothes and shoes and souvenirs and laundry. These are just some of the costs to consider, and it's probably a good idea to set a budget for them. You can see here from our self-created spreadsheet, we track our costs pretty close. Our site and electric costs, our RV data cost, loan, insurance, license plates, propane, repair and maintenance. Our club expenses, Good Sam, FMCA, Grand Design Forum, Trip Wizard, Escapees, and so forth. So it's a good idea to have a budget and a spreadsheet to keep track of your costs. This graph represents our campground site and electric costs, our campground costs per night, our diesel fuel cost, and our truck maintenance and repair cost. Note, the diesel fuel cost increase in May and June when we were traveling. Also in December, as we were traveling from Indiana down to Texas. The second set of graphs illustrate our RV maintenance and repair costs, our dining out costs, grocery, and miscellaneous. Also note on the dining out cost, our budget of just less than $600. And we go over it a few times. Also on our grocery cost, the budget is a little over $600. And we do exceed it from time to time. We're going to share with you some of our 2023 full-time costs. Campground site, including electric, $9,921. A monthly per night average of $27.18. Now that was all private campgrounds, no boondocking. No real resorts like Disney World either. RV repair and maintenance, $34.95. That includes tires, any parts we needed. We even bought some spare parts like leaf springs to carry with us. RV insurance, $18.05, including our FMCA roadside assistance. Truck, diesel fuel, we spent $5,573, and our towable miles for 2023 was just a little over 5,000 miles. I don't have the total miles we drove the truck, but the diesel fuel is with towing or not. Maintenance and repair, $25.32. Now that includes tires, it includes oil changes, filter changes, fuel filter changes, transmission fuel filter changes, and so on. Our insurance is $1,176. Grocery, there's a biggie, $7,392, and we ate out way too much. It's $6,830. Our communications, which is our cell phones, our internet, our streaming services, you can see it there, $38.93. And our RV clubs at $585 for the year. FMCA, Good Sam, Escapees, Harvest Host, Trip Wizard, and so forth. So you can see some of our full timing costs for 2023. Okay, I've laid it all out for you here. I even showed you some of our costs for 2023. Some of the things to think about, some organizations that you might want to check into, how we budget, how we keep track of our expenditures. And so before you pull the trigger on going full time, think about some of these things. Think about making sure that you have all your ducks in a row before you go full time. So you can live as cheaply or as expensively as you wish. It just depends upon you. If you want to do a lot of boondocking, you want to do a lot of off-grid camping, that's going to really lower your costs. If you want to do some work camping, that can also lower your cost. So you can change things around and really be cost effective. But is it cheaper than living in a home? Not necessarily. It can be more expensive. Now, we do all of our maintenance ourselves. If something breaks, we fix it ourselves and buy the parts. Now, we have had no major failures, no major breakdowns. A lot of it is just maintenance. So here's information for you. If you're thinking about going full time, find as much information as you can about it and really research it before you do it. Because if you've sold everything, you've sold your house, and now you find out that we don't like this at all, you got to start all over again. And I got to tell you, Tammy and I have been married for 46 years, and we really like each other. So, you're going to be in close proximity with your significant other. So, you got to work together or it's not going to work. You got to be on the same page. So, we both love full timing. We've had the best time of our life. We are looking forward to many more years of full timing. So get out there, have fun. Thanks for watching, and we'll put some more videos together in the future, and we hope to see you around. Have a good time out there. Bye.